So this is the magazine we were looking for the other day when we had the fire stick advertisement from April 1981. And one of our Canadian viewers has had a peruse through the internet and found that it's April 81. So again, remember CB wasn't legal till November 81. So all this junk on the front, which was never legal, is nothing to do with the UK radio scene. This is the advertisement on the back, which was slightly provocative for whatever reason. She obviously wants to lick it because it's so nice. And then there was that other series of We Dressed It and so on. So I'll show that again in a moment. So again, this is May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's 7 months before CB was legalised. And it's interesting to look through another magazine, another UK magazine, which I didn't take at the time. I did take Citizens Band, which I showed you last time. And we have Miura, who didn't want me as a dealer. So what have we got? So this point the legislation was coming out and what was going to happen. Friendly advice for emergency monitors. Can you imagine this? In a city, Channel 9 emergency, it'd either be silence or F this and F that. Lots of this is gone by the thing with people with mobile phones. I don't do mobile phones, but I really do hope, as sole owner of the GB3GR UHF repeater with its 100-mile plus range, that if I put a call out on there and ask for somebody to phone the AA for me, that I'm sure somebody would. I have used CB in an emergency. I had an engine failure on a elderly car, which I wasn't surprised, but I just happened to be 95 miles away from home when it happened, and it was catastrophic engine failure. And I was the Stockport side of the Pennines, and I flicked around the CB radio in the car, and there was somebody having a chat probably about 4 miles away. And I broke into the conversation, and they did get me the AA and kept me informed of what the AA was saying. For those out of the country, the AA is the Automobile Association, which you can pay to be in, and there's also the Royal, the RAC, the Royal Automobile Club. At the time, their insurance worked a different way, and I wanted to be covered as a person rather than the car to be covered, and the AA suited me. But you've got to renegotiate it every year. It's such a pain. You know, you pay, I don't know, 65 quid this year, and next year they want 240, and you really got to watch it. It's very naughty. They all play this game, don't they, insurance things. The Heathrow Hotel, the National 10-4 Day. Right, we're really going to go to Heathrow, aren't we, from here? Dealing with interference problems. Well, this is still relevant, but of course, back in these illegal days we were using AM, which is so much more interference than FM. And especially on radios which weren't approved anyway. The new AM approved sets where you've got AM, FM, the interference standards for Europe are going to be far and away higher than they ever were for the FCC stuff. Or of course the export stuff, which has no filtration at all. Chelmer Communications. The London demonstration. Well, there you go. He's got a Chevette van. Did they call that Chevan? I had a CB Master catalogue, and it had all the connectors and interconnectors, you know, like all these kind of things. That's a PL258. That's an NC something or other, but it's the something or other that was in that catalogue. And I had it in a shed. Mice got in, turned it into a nest. End of CB Master catalogue. Teach yourself CB. Oh, it was $3.99 I paid for that cassette then. And we'll be doing the first of the two gramophone records on Friday. There's the 1976 one and the 1978 one. We'll start with the 76 one and the one with the sexy lady in her kitchen we'll wait for next week. My friend David says he's going to copy another cassette for me, which was done by the Radio 1 DJ at the time, Dave Lee Travis, for Radiomobile, and that's going to be good fun. I've got some brand new cassettes so we can do that. Of course, it was going to be called Open Channel Radio, and so you got all these firms setting up with Open Channel this and Open Channel that, but it ended up being called Citizens Band. Of course, they're discussing the 900 megs thing. As you know, we started with 934 megs, but it got swallowed up by eTact's mobile phone, didn't it? Mura again, who didn't want me as a dealer, probably told the truth. And not that I was going to buy 10,000 quid a month off them. I'll tell you what, when I was at Nottingham Radio, we spent 1,000 quid a month with Les Wallen Manufacturing, the people behind the modulator. He had disguised antenna, £8.46. Didn't work very well though, did they? I suppose they were better than nothing. Antennas. The Bremy power supply, the early 220 volt one, which popped its capacitors when put on 240 volts. So you had to buy these, change the capacitors and then use them. And it was from Open Channel Telecommunications at Lordship Lane, London. They had a Grantham branch on the Earlsfield Industrial Estate. I had an account with them. And there we go. Books on CB. Of course, these are all American, aren't they? And some of the information is relevant, and a lot of it isn't. CB enthusiast turned detective to home in on missing telecom gear. And they got a Pi Westminster business radio there, which no doubt got pinched, and they managed to recover it for 15 quid from some dodgy person, which I'm sure the person whose £350 business radio that was very pleased to get it back. There was quite a lot of thefts of business radios, with the stupid thieves thinking that they're CB radios. I wonder what the thought is between people who steal car radios. Is it still a thing? Because the cars I've had since 2002, they've all had radios which don't have a radio. Do you get that? They have a control panel, sometimes even a CD slot, but the radio is part of the engine management computer system somewhere. So there isn't actually a radio per se. So I just wonder if people nick those control panels. And the other thing is, I once bought a car with a missing radio. It was a Peugeot 405. And it was supposed to be a Philips radio in that car, and it was just missing. So that was reflected in the price, so that wasn't the issue. But I went to the scrapyard, and I says, you got a radio for Peugeot 405? He goes, yeah, Peugeot 405 in the corner. So I got my radio extraction key, put it in, took the radio out. I said, of course you'll need to get a code for it, won't you, mate? I said, yes, you will. Good. £5, so I paid me £5 for this radio cassette, and I paid 18 quid to get the decoding thing done, and that was that. So somebody who steals one of those radios, what on earth did they get for it when you can buy it legitimately for a £5? Because I tell you what, how many car radios actually get removed from the cars before the cars are crushed? What? Because they have no resale value, do they? Because every car's got one, apart from one which had it nicked. So, that's my soapbox with that one. Talking about scrapyards, the breaker's yard, but it isn't a scrapyard. Not interested in DX, so you're not either. Right, superheroes always wear their underpants on the outside of their... he hasn't got tights on, he's got the crisscross Viz-type plaster, hasn't he? Of course, this is funny. This cartoon character bird, for those of you who don't know, is a takeoff of the British Telecom Busby, and he featured in everything. But what happened was the people who went round looking for illegal operation were the Post Office Telecommunications Department back then. Later become Ofcom and goodness knows who, whatever they are this week. And so, of course, they went around in these bright yellow vans, which were part of British Telecom. And, oh, Busby's going to get you. Well, it killed off the whole Busby advertising thing because, yeah, it just got the Michael taken out of it. Muir again, who didn't want my business. The inevitable body warmer. CB project number 2. An antenna matcher for 27 megs. Now then, that's a useful project, isn't it? So that still would be relevant and there'd be nothing illegal about it. Trimmer capacitor is going to cost you a fortune. Here we are. Do yourself. They're using Jackson, there'll be C804 variable capacitors, which are probably £18 each these days. But that would work. So C804 100 picofarads. UHF sockets for RS. You know, it's alright giving RS part numbers, but they don't. They only serve the trade, don't they? Anyway, that's a project that would work. Is that a Ford Escort van or is it the Morris Marina van? Classified adverts. What tat are they selling? Handle badges and things. And now it takes us to the 5-stick advertisement from Wintjoy, who went bust before CB became legal. The lady on the back, you can't lick a stick. So there you are. I saw nothing dodgy about that, but some people didn't like the advert and it got altered. So I hope you like that, and we must thank the person from, I think it's Peter in Canada, who so kindly researched that and found out which magazine actually had that advertisement on, because I said it's not a magazine I took. So you're going to be fed up of me. I want to go and do the aerial in the chapel. We had in the back of the organ workshop, we had a CB aerial, which is a copy of a Silver Rod. Put it up 20 years ago and used it till about 10 years ago. Had the chapel built starting a couple of years back, and so the cable's just dangling, and the idea is to put it through near where the organ blower is into the chapel, put a shelf in and put the Harrier CBHQ base station, we used to use a base station here, on that shelf, so we do have a CB in that building. I want to bring that job forward because the gentleman who owns the Fidelity 1000 we did recently is coming to fetch it. It'd be nice to talk to him on it, so I'm kind of talking to him from, you know, whatever, 12 miles away on his own radio. That would be really nice, but the thing is, I've got to be able to drill through the 11mm hole in the wall, and I've also got to hope that the coaxial cable isn't full of water and knackered. So that's going to be what I'm going to try and do this morning. So that'll be video number 2 today. Video number 3 today, I'd like to get on with the Take 2000 business radios. It's not of interest to 99% of you, because what we're trying to do is to put some of these radios onto ham band. One of the viewers has kindly sent software which will do models I couldn't previously do. So I couldn't do it on Friday. It was scheduled for Friday. It was pouring with rain. The radios are in the shed, and the shed's 100 yards away, and I'd have got soaked. And then we do want to move on to the trade repair from Sheffield, the first of which, we had another one arrive yesterday, but the first of which is the Cobra, no, not the Colt 2958, which I keep harping on about. So there we go. Thanks for watching.